We'll have a word in my office later, Jonathan.
Bueno, acá estamos, donde lo habíamos dejado la anterior vez.
It's locked, all right.
Accede al hospital. Upa. ¿Qué pasó?
Rotten all pristine. Each heart contains the seeds of life. Drink at this river. Try it all.
Oh, come on, you bastard. I won't bite.
Sir, please. You've lost too much blood. Calm yourself.
You think I didn't notice? Stop your staring and get me to an hospital, you arse.
F para más información. 500 de experiencia. Sea más educado.
Insulting a good Samaritan. Not exactly the way to get rescued.
All right, sorry. I am in pain here. My guts are spilling out onto the street and you're yabbering on.
Yes. That's a very nasty wound you've got there. Take my word, I am a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Name's Clay Cox. I'd appreciate you helping me to a better place, Doc.
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
Ok. La calidad de la sangre da cuánta experiencia recibirás de un ciudadano. Cuanto más alta sea la calidad de la sangre, más experiencia obtendrás. Para poder verte la sangre de tu presa, tendrás que cautivar primero para apartarla de miradas indiscretas. Tu nivel de cautivar debe ser igual o mayor que la resistencia del ciudadano. Pulsa Q para cautivar a Clay. No me deja opción. La luz se desvanece. Acércate a las sombras. Sigue el camino rojo para traer tu presa hacia la sombra. Pulsa para sentenciar a Clay o para liberar. Sentenciar a Clay te proporciona un impulso masivo de experiencia, pero tendrá consecuencias. Obtener información sobre los ciudadanos y descubrir pistas incrementa la cantidad de experiencia obtenida.
No more. Not tonight. Not like this. I will not take another life.
It is wise for the huntsman to sometimes let his prey go, but no famished hunter can run for long.
Whoa, I feel giddy. Did I black out? What happened? Whoa, I feel giddy.
¿Podré? No puedo hablarle al chabón, nada. No, nada. Okay. Nada. Bueno, vamos a ir al hospital.
Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
I found a wounded man by the docks. He answers to the name of Clay Cox. He requires urgent medical attention.
Already making the rounds? That's the Pembroke spirit.
Bien.
I'll ask our porter, Milton, to bring him back immediately.
A ver qué se puede hacer con ese. Que tenía pistas y eso.
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you. Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
I would like to ask a few questions first.
Cali... Uf. ¿Quién es el Dr. Swansea?
What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
Acabo de conocerlo.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is sudden. I've only just returned to England.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most compassionate physician.
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
Ok. ¿Cómo está?
And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in, how does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
If you could point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the
Segunda planta a la izquierda. No puedo hablar mucho más.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Ok. A causa de la gripe, este hospital no admite más pacientes. Hospital completo. Uf. Están hasta la chota acá. Busca tu despacho en la segunda planta.
Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research.
Segunda planta. ¿Acá será? Fondo. Dr. Reed.
This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes.
Perfecto.
Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin.
Analiza la sangre de William Bishop en la mesa de trabajo. A ver. Ah, no, esto es para... Acá, analizar. Regenera 300 puntos de salud al instante.
William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive mutation. But this is not what happened to me. I must keep on searching. The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night. I have so much time now.
¿Qué hice? ¿Qué toqué? Ah, mirá. Ah, me puse gorrito. No, pero me gusta el gorrito, amigo. Es malísimo. No, sacame el gorro. Igual, no puedo creer que tarde tanto en ponerse un gorro, el loco. Ahí está, gracias. No, ni a palo. Bueno, antes de descansar, mirá. Uf, este está muy bueno. Antes de descansar quiero ver un poco, a ver qué se puede hacer. A ver.
I cannot enter.
Vamos a investigar el lugar un toque. Perfecto. Sierra usada. Historia. Sierra. 65. Velocidad de ataque 15. Velocidad de ataque 10. Energía 20. No, creo que esta me gusta. Bueno. Ah, mirá. Nueva pista. Detalles. Tomás se siente responsable de su desfiguración durante la guerra. Ah, ok. Entonces, claro, vas agarrando gilada y ahí podés desbloquear las pistas. Ok. Muy interesante eso. Está bueno. Bien, de este lado ya no hay nada. Vamos a subir un toque acá. Acá no hay nada. Bueno, el otro lado. ¿Qué tenemos en el otro lado? A ver. En estos momentos no puedo. Ah, mira, Doctor's Fancy.
It's locked.
La puerta está cerrada. Acá no hay nada. Este creo que es de otro lado. No, nada. Vamos a ir por abajo. Abajo. Vamos a limpiar por izquierda. Botella pequeña.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
Esta Thelma, la voz, es de Eva Green. Eva Green es una actriz de la sanputa. O sea, todo lo que es temática vampiresca, victoriana, está ella metida. Estuvo en Sin City. Fue una de las protagonistas de Penny Dreadful, que me hace acordar muchísimo este juego. Nada, es excelente. Y nada, me pone muy contento que haya puesto su voz para esto. Inclusive la cara tiene un aire. Bueno, a ver. No quiero cautivarla. Quiero ver más información. Círculo social, mirá. Se conoce con este loco. Está sana. Ok, es ahí. Más información. Sano. Preguntas personales. Pista requerida, pista requerida. ¿Quién es en realidad?
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
It was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
No dice mucho de ella. Su vida en Londres. O sea,
And why
vampiro.
do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Escríbame eso sí.
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
Así hablar del síndrome de
I
Cotard.
see. Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefied,
Wow,
that they are dead, a
zarpado.
ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh,
Vista.
sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
Nueva pista. Thelma sufre el síndrome de Cotard y se crea un vampiro. Ok.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
¿Qué haremos de usted?
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Hay una nueva investigación sobre ciudadanos disponibles. Pulsa para abrir el menú de investigaciones locales. Aquí puedes ver las investigaciones sobre ciudadanos organizados por distritos. Puedes empezar una nueva misión de ciudadano al rastrearla a continuación. Accede a tu mapa para localizar la que debes explorar. Averigua quién espía a Thelma. Bueno, ¿y cómo hago para...?
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your
Mistress of the Dark. Qué bien. Qué copado como lo pronunció. Me encantó. Averigua quién espía a Thelma. Ahí está. Ah, acá está el loquito. Acá está el loquito este que tiene relación con Thelma. A ver.
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here.
Sí, hoy, amigo.
War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
Pobre. Su vida en Londres. El verdadero motivo de su herida, mirá. Esta es la de... Esta es la pista.
Why do you feel responsible for the injury, Thomas? What really
A ver.
happened?
I wasn't disfigured by any German shells.
Oh.
It happened during my leave. It was an accident.
¿Qué ocurrió realmente?
Tell me what really happened then.
I went with a whore in Rouen. Dead drunk I was. The hotel was a shithole. There was a fire that night.
Did you start the fire? Were you trying to avoid going back to the front? That's not uncommon, you know.
No. It's just that I was asleep when the flames reached the room. The girl was long gone.
No,
Bitch never
amigo.
woke me up. Left me to burn.
Why lie about it?
Come on. It's one thing to come back disfigured
Se
by
siente
the
un fracasado,
Germans.
pobre. Pero bueno,
And it's another to get
Es un
injured in an
accidente, igual.
accident that could have happened
Amigo.
to anybody.
hay que lidiar con eso. No puedo esconderse para siempre.
You know you can't hide forever. One day you'll have to face your loved ones.
Claro.
Until that day, you have no chance of real recovery.
My friends all died in the trenches. It's shameful enough to be alive with these stupid scars. I don't want my children to see me like this.
Complicado. Tomás se siente demasiado avergonzado por sus heridas como para ver a su familia.
Why do you feel...
I wasn't...
No, esto ya está. Acá.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under
A la
the
mierda.
scars. If you get my drift.
¿Puedo hacer
Can
algo?
I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Soldier, do you need assistance?
I'm fine. Just do something for this pain, will you? That's all I'm asking.
Pará. ¿Cómo va
How is
su
your stay with
estancia?
Orange?
It's the pain.
¿Quién lo está tratando?
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Pobre chabón, eso es una agonía constante. Sobre la enfermedad de la señora
How
Howcroft.
close are you to Miss Hawcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside.
Wow.
But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
Zarpado. Ya está. Tomás ve a Thelma como una prueba evidente que todavía le queda esperanza. Acá está. Pulsa para más información. 1 a 1.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops
Amigo,
of
pero
blood.
estás todo quemado.
It's real for once.
She could decide to bite less
Qué raro.
willing patients.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world.
Está re deprimido.
It seems much more fun than the real one.
Terminamos esto. A ver si lo puedo cautivar. Oh. Ok. Ok, acá la verdadera... El verdadero alimento. La hora de la verdad. Están todas las pistas. Todas. Creo que... Supongo que el juego quiere que procedamos así.
So this is how it ends. Farewell, my life, you betrayed me, good.
Fa. El distrito sufrió las consecuencias de tu decisión. Zarpado. Acá encima tengo a esta. Que me faltan 2 pistas más. No, esto no quiero. Escondite. Averigua quién está espiando a Thelma. Ay. Ah, acá, investigación local. 50, 48...
Thelma Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters.
qué buen traje.
Where are they hiding? I should investigate.
Mira mis ojos cómo están. Ok, ¿y dónde? Por acá, ponele. Carta arrugada. Milton Hawks, una pista. Oh. Che, es muy... O sea, la investigación... No quiero haberme comido... Ok, quiero haberme perdido nada. Y dice que es por acá, o sea... Okay.
I understand you must be very angry about this unfair situation. I managed to...
It's locked.
Hay un loquito hablando acá. Acá.
I cannot enter.
La puerta está cerrada. Déjame pasar. No.
It's locked, all right.
Ah. Hello.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir. Especially when he was supposedly dead.
A colleague. Are you a doctor too?
Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana. Now,
I'm just Mr. Chadana, pawnbroker and humble guardian of this morgue.
What do you mean? You used to be a doctor. Was your license revoked?
No, sir. It is just that I like to be precise. I run a little pawn shop while taking care of the dead. But I used to be a real doctor.
Ok. Mira, necesito mucho para... Claro, para llevármelo y tiene pistas. Bueno. A ver, quiero ver primero qué tiene.
Please show me what you have to sell.
Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful.
Claro, y no le puedo vender las armas. No me interesa si no puedo vender las armas. Quiero hablar, me toque.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Such a pleasure to see you again.
Subí en Londres, a ver. No le da respeto estar rodeado de cadáveres.
Are you afraid or uneasy being surrounded by so many corpses?
Why should I? These bodies are empty vessels. Flesh left to decay. Poof. No soul anymore. All gone.
La mayoría de la gente dice la carne muerta.
An interesting point of view. And quite an exotic one, too. Most people fear, or at least have a respect, for dead flesh.
Sir, as a medic during the war, I learned to face my death and the death of others.
Sí, tiene razón.
Not death, it's...
Es re sabio este loco, me cae re bien. Mira, nueva pista. Rush no le teme a la muerte desde que sirvió como médico. ¿Cómo consiguió trabajo?
How did you get this job?
After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker down by the docks. A dangerous place with many an unpleasant business there. Milton Hooks helped me get a job here.
Copado. ¿Nos conocemos?
Have we met before?
I don't think so, sir. Why?
When we first talked, you said you were glad to meet me since I was reported dead.
Funny story, sir. Your sister came here a few nights ago.
Oof.
You were missing, and she was looking for your body. She must be very relieved now.
No. Qué garrón. ¿Trabaja en solitario?
Do you work here alone?
Yes, very easy work, sir. All I have to do is watch a few bodies. The situation was very different when the main morgue was still open.
¿Por qué cerró la morgue?
Why close the hospital's main morgue?
It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic. Cadavers had to be moved to the nearest mass grave.
Okay. ¿Por qué vigila los
Why do you
cuerpos?
have to watch these bodies?
Because these poor fellows have no names. We keep them in case someone comes looking for the missing. Sadly,
Mira vos.
very rarely happens.
Bien, atrás. Atrás. Esto ya está. Preguntas personales. ¿Es usted
A
prestamista?
pawnbroker? I expect you get all types of people here.
Yes, sir. All kind of people. For I sell all kind of goods.
¿Quién viene aquí a negociar con usted?
Who comes here to trade with you? It's very unhygienic, even unsafe. Diseases can spread. For the customers, for the hospital.
I'm very cautious, sir. I've been a doctor, remember? And all my clients are good people. In fact, I think I only know good people.
¿Quién que me cae este chabón igual, eh?
What kind of goods?
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy things. So I trade, I exchange. Some people sell, some others buy. I like to help.
Me cae muy bien este loco.
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe in life after death, Rakesh?
No, I believe we must do all the good we can while alive. For our time is short, and the obstacles are endless.
Do you think you would enjoy immortality as a concept?
I don't think so. Don't mistake me. I love life, and I'd like to live a long life. But everything has to decay, sir. Even goodwill.
Qué copado. ¿Está preparado para
So
morir?
you're ready to die? No, I am not. I don't fear death, for I won't see it. What troubles me is the pain my death will inflict to those I know.
You're a wise man.
Filosofía pura,
No, Dr. Reed. I am a foolish
Qué
man,
bien.
but I like to think otherwise.
Muy buena charla.
Do you really believe goodwill cannot last?
As I said, sir, everything decays. If I was to never die, goodness, I would be bored or worse. And I like to be helpful, sir.
Quite depressing, wouldn't you say?
Yes, but the good news is we'll all die before losing our humanity, sir.
Muy buena charla, che.
Goodbye, Mr. Chidam.
Bueno, fue un personaje muy interesante. No pude recaudar la información que quería porque
It's locked.
no sé cómo... A ver... Ah, no me deja pasar.
I'm sorry you ended up on a plain and cold medical bench, sir. I understand you must be very angry about this
Ahí no sé con quién carajo está hablando el loco.
I managed to arrange to have you buried.
Ok. Casi interesante. Ah. No, están lejos. Son nivel 6 igual.
Steady, boys! Fuck his balls!
Bien. Ahí está. Actividad. Hace 3 días uno de nuestros reclutas escuchó un rumor sobre la presencia de un vampiro hembra. No sabemos su nombre. Vuestra misión es investigar. ¿Cómo proceder? Ok. Ah, acá está. Ok. Ok, perfecto. Encuentre el puesto de mando local de guardia. Encuentre el puesto de mando local de la guardia de Priwen. Creo que creo que me la puedo bancar por ahora. Pero vamos a probar. Porque de esta creo que me falta el último. Está bien. Tengo el último ahí. Perfecto. Espero que no me la den, porque la verdad que me da cagazo. Estado del distrito grave. Está la chota. What the fuck. No. Baja de ahí, amigo. ¿Cómo era el...? No, me lo van a enredar. No, me la van a enredar. Nivel 18. No sé si podría... Puedo hacer un intento. Pará, ¿con qué? Ay, Dios, me hice quilombo con los controles. La Q. Y la B larga. Inmueble abandonado. Upa, 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 upa. Ciudadano, es posible que el ciudadano en apuros no sobreviva hasta la próxima noche. Voy a ver cómo está.
I cannot enter.
Ay, mirá. No, imposible. No, imposible, imposible. No puedo. No, olvídate. No, tengo que leviar para poder hacer esto. Nos vimos. Nos revimos. Salva... pero lo tengo que salvar. Oh. Claro, porque no tengo... Si no se va a morir. ¿Dónde me metí? Bueno, a ver si puedo. Ok. Ok. No hay chance. Porque encima perdí toda la sangre. Si le doy con la... ¿Vendrá? Ay. Ah, pero no, olvídate. Si sigue así, olvídate. No tengo chance. Como, perdón, hombre, pero no puedo. Me metí de lleno en el quilombo. Quiero la munición también. Pierdo la munición también. Mira vos. Mira vos. Ahora, a este loco, ¿qué chances tengo de ponerlo? A este. Me hizo mierda, boludo. No me... Ok. Me destruyó. Ok. Chao. Me fui. Me fui. Oh. Bueno, vamos a seguir investigando, vamos a seguir hablando. Antes de lidiar.
I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable. And your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies. Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Es muy gracioso porque si te das cuenta, esta realidad es muy parecida. Ahora bajó un poco, pero cuando empezó la pandemia, que nada, estaban todos a full con el COVID, abarrotado, todo estallado, qué sé yo, y no sé, pasaba alguien que no tenía esa enfermedad y la pasaba re mal. Posta que la pasabas terrible. Terminé. Preguntas personales. Pista. Ok.
Goodbye for now, Mr.
Vamos a hablar con los médicos. Ah. Carta incompleta. Nueva pista. Excelente. A ver.
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Any news about my operation?
You seem worried about the safety of your family. And it's obviously the reason why your wound troubles you so much.
I cannot give up on my children now. They both need me living.
What about their mother, if I may ask?
She died in 1915 during one of the first Zeppelin raids. We never found her body.
Harvey no podía meter a su familia mientras sigue con el brazo lesionado. La mujer de Harvey murió durante la guerra.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army, building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
¿Cómo están sus hijos?
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
You always knew the words to calm the children, Helen. As for me,
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated
Voy a quedar
dabblers.
comiendo. Sí, te voy a quedar comiendo. ¿Tiene problema conmigo?
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position.
¿Y cuál es el problema? Capo.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
La hostilidad está de más.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital, instead of a burden.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Wally no aprueba los métodos de la medicina moderna. Círculo social. Está acá el loco. Tengo que llegar mira, todos los arcos. Ok. Su vida en Londres. Preguntas personales. He demostrado mis habilidades profesionales.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you
No,
truly
soy un vampiro, capo.
dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
Knowledge has always been and will remain our main weapon. and it has always come at a price. And personal initiative.
It is not a question of initiative. It is a question of integrity. These men and women have put their faith in us, Dr. Reed.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd.
Pista, pista. Tengo una pista, pero...
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Este hijo de puta lo va a quedar comiendo.
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Bueno.
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's
Este está con nosotros.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy and pride?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
Hábleme usted.
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
¿Qué le hizo decantarse? Hábleme de sus experimentos.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may
Los experimentos de Toreo sobre la transfusión de sangre todavía no han dado resultados.
remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
¿Qué le hizo decantarse por este itinerario?
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me.
Un fan, amigo.
I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
Vamos a verlo a nuestro lado.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn.
Pero me parece peligroso. Estos dos me parecen re peligrosos.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time.
Una investigación.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True, true. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
Es un poco loco, va, yo por lo menos no creo que con respecto a la pandemia nos sea tan así. Porque es como que dice todo lo que podemos ayudar, que poder acabar con esto. No sé, todo lo de la pandemia de hoy en día es todo muy raro. Inclusive YouTube censura. Y si hablas de eso, no sé, es todo muy extraño. Es muy complicado para dar una opinión. sobre lo que me hizo pensar la conversación de este loco. Sobre su técnica de transfusión de sangre. Sigamos.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from
Ahí
a
está.
severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him? Or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Cuéntame la historia del señor Fiddick.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury.
Upa.
He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father. Ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Upa. Harry se culpa a sí mismo por sus heridas. Esto es interesante.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior. A man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think
Es un
keeping
tarado
his
este.
distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
As for me, a blundering idiot.
What can I do for you, Doctor?
Ah, esto ya
Thank you,
está.
Miss Crum.
Acá hay otro loquito. Dos loquitos más. Uf. ¿Cuántos diálogos,
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No,
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
Bueno. Ah, mira. Tratamiento para el agotamiento.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need
A ver si
anything.
lo puedo curar ahora.
Doctor.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer
Ok.
Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
Uf, tiene un montón de cosas. Su vida en Londres. ¿Se queja como la
What
recibieron?
do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
Seguramente que
I
sí.
have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived.
Típica vieja
But
chota
we
esta.
had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Beatriz cuestiona la eficiencia del hospital.
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Chúpamela.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
Sospechoso.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
¡Upa! ¡Upa, amiga! ¡Jaja!
She charged you for a bed.
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure
Sí,
that I'll
olvídate.
talk to the people involved.
Vamos
I
a
don't
comernos
expect
gente.
Compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
No, olvídate. Mira vos.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
¿Tanto dinero tiene?
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Voy a tener que hablar con nosotros para desbloquear esto.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
No puedo.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
How painful is your...
So painful I'd rather...
I'll let you get some...
Don't waste your time.
Vamos a tener que esperar un poco. Bueno, acá estamos. Voy a terminar el diálogo con este. A ver.
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
¿Por qué se siente culpable por su herida?
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick. Unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
Pero no te cuentan qué le pasó. Bueno, lástima por tus hijos, pero tengo que progresar. La verdad que no entendí bien tu historia, amigo, sinceramente. Pero bueno, nada. Ahí vengo para, Ah, en el coso. Ok. Tuki.
All I wanted was to go back to work. To take care of my children.
Me dolió. Este me dolió. La verdad que me... ¿Este quién es? Ah. ¿Quién más tenemos acá? ¿Este quién es? ¿Este es el mismo?
I'm quite busy right now,
Ah, sí,
Dr.
sí,
Reed.
sí, sí.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Esta. Esta creo que es la que cobró.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
Peppa
And I'm
Pig.
Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
Esta es la de... Sí, esta es la que cobra. Ah, está, mira este loco. Está. Tengo que hacer esto. Pista requerida.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
La gripe española, sí.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
Tranca, amiga, no sé qué decirte. Recomponete.
You must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
Quiero hablar con vos de...
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
Debería cambiar su actitud.
I don't like your attitude, Nurse Hawkins. Pessimism can be as lethal as the epidemic.
Tiene mucha razón.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual.
Ese es el que se quejó la vieja.
Concerning doctors.
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation.
Opa.
Whether he deserved it or not.
Este hay que comérselo. Porque encima tenemos ya 2 pistas de este loco. Es mediocre. Milton extorsiona... Sí, olvídate. Te voy a cagar comiendo.
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned. Milton is not the chatty type.
Che, y no puedo, en serio, no puedo preguntarle sobre... No puedo creer, no puedo preguntar sobre cosa. Acá está Milton. Claro, estos son como...
Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before, at the Rockefeller
Mira.
University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
Bueno. Casi ¿eh? Uf, meto las pistas, opa. Es una eminencia este loco. ¿Cómo es la situación aquí?
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
It's more than enough. In any case, the personnel of a hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office now and again.
Tell me more about cherished people, then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with.
Brannigan es... Esta no. Esta es Peppa Pig. Brannigan debe ser... Esta. Esta, mira. Ah, está. Está convencido que podría aspirar mucho más que enfermera.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
Interesante.
Goodbye,
Okay.
Dr. Tippett.
Adiós, Dr. Tippett. Salva al hombre. Ok. El corrupto, el tarado.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war, and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
¡Apa! ¡Ajá! Más información. 2. Todavía no puedo. Está sano.
I'd like to see your goods. Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
Uff. Ah, está caro. Ah, no sé, no puedo vender las armas.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doc.
Tell me why you're extorting money from some of the patients here.
If a patient wants a bed, he'll have to pay me a little fee. That's all.
Where did you get the idea for such an immoral scam?
Funny you should ask.
Voy a comer.
The first time it was from a patient who bribed me to get a bed. It's only then I realized I could make a fortune.
Why do you have such a mediocre reputation among your colleagues, Milton?
Fuck them. Nobody knows the horrors I've seen since working here. This city was sick long before the epidemic, Dr. Reed.
I know it's a difficult task, but correct me if I'm wrong. Is this not the job you are paid to do?
I've seen babies left to die while their brothers were properly fed. Underage girls and boys sold to all manner of perverts.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, exactly. We lack words. So excuse me if I don't look on the bright side of life.
Okay.
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know. And by gang members willing to steal my money.
But you're not defending yourself. You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them another way to protect their health.
Es gracioso igual que este es como el pilar de la moral y voy por ahí comiéndome a todos.
How is the situation around here?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful. We lack everything, and it's getting worse every day.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital? Apart from smuggling guns.
I've been an ambulance driver
Hijo de
since
puta.
too long, I guess. I bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job, but I get it done. Most of the time.
It sounds like things have been a bit rough recently.
A ver.
What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing here. I escaped through the hospital's garden, but I lost my wallet when I was running.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital. That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
Ahí está. Medianoche en el jardín del bien y del mal.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings. Even the locals attack you.
Goodbye, Milton.
Bueno, es un buen momento. Pasa, me falta gente todavía. ¿Este quién es? No, Pipa. No. Esto está bueno para encontrarlos. Desconocido. Yo tengo más gente.
It's locked, all right.
Ah, mira. Este dice... Tomá.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Ah, este es el
Dr. Reed,
coso.
is it? Oh, sir, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
Dos pistas. Que tenía 6.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
¿Cómo es la situación los
What is
muelles?
the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the Dockers trade union. The Wet Boot boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Dooth Digby.
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint, not even criminals.
Yo sí, pa.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs,
Sí,
no
está la
advice,
chota. Mal.
nothing. It's a damn shame.
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really, but I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks. And I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
Qué raro eso, ¿eh?
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest, and then I can go back to the people who need me.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton.
Bueno, ahora sí, ya es el momento de descansar, tenemos un montón de experiencia. Después vamos a ver si podemos ir por la cartera del otro loquito y lo terminamos también. ¿Ahí repuse? Por ejemplo... No. Mordedura. Aumenta el daño infligido. Aumenta la regeneración de vida. Aumenta la absorción de sangre. Aumenta la energía, aumenta la salud. Bueno, bien. Ah, 2000. Excelente. Nivel 9.